Good morning, everyone. We are back.
What up?
Yesterday, we were productive. Let's see if we can keep that momentum going into today.
First thing I'm doing is I'm snapping up that bathroom door because we're gonna start laying that flooring.
And I'm gonna finish taking all of the concrete and the debris off the chimney.
Yeah, she's gonna do that first so we don't screw up the flooring.
So that's it, let's go. Yesterday you saw me take most of this down with the pry bar and the hammer. Now what we have left is kind of this like real fine stuff. So we have 2 attachments that go on the drill. We normally use this one. It's a little bit finer, but sometimes it gets matted and I think this is a little too tough for it. So I'll probably use this towards the end. So we went and got this bad boy, which is definitely more tough. So this does create quite a dust storm. So we rigged this fan to just push as much as the debris out the window as possible so it doesn't get too crazy in here.
Gear up.
Yes. Hair up, mask on, glasses on, all the things.
Oh, dude. Fucking rode the light. How you doing in there, girl? Dude, it's looking so good.
So the stronger one worked really well for knocking things in my eyeballs. So we got the bulk of it off and now I'm gonna go in with this finer tooth and it just like does like the details because now I just want to get it off the brick but I don't want to scratch the brick. Really cleans it up nice.
Well, Lauren finishes up that chimney. There's a couple spots I just noticed around windows that framing is rotted just from over the years. There was probably leaks in the old windows. Check it. It's seen better days. So luckily this framing is good. It's just this kind of 2x4 plate that's sitting on. And I'll just sister up some new ones to these 2 studs and I think we'll be good to go. I found that this whole window just like isn't attached to anything, and this is where the problem is. If you actually look through here, that sheathing right there, that sheathing is what's moving. It's the entire window. I'm gonna take a better look at it, but it doesn't make me too confident that I don't need to take this window out because it is a replacement. Take it out, rebuild this whole portion of wall, and then put the window back in. I really don't want to do that. I don't know. Let's see. We'll start getting into it.
I know this is important, but this can wait. Whereas the plans we had for this weekend already, like laying the bathroom flooring and prepping for painting, kind of does have to happen this weekend because the painters are coming back during the week. So yes, I agree that this needs to be fixed, but can we not do that now?
I can't take you seriously because you look like the kid from Sandlot when the vacuum exploded.
Yeah.
Yes. No, you're right. You're right. We will. We'll go refocus.
Yeah.
On the bathroom.
Focus. Right.
What's this word you're saying? Focus.
Focus. But more immediate. Can we get lunch?
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Sure.
Yes.
Dude, this is so miserable. The fact that I just found this. Okay, tell the peeps what's up.
So this thermometer is on the house and it's super cute, but obviously you can't read anything. So we're gonna try to strip some of the paint off and see if we can salvage it.
Yeah, I think they've painted it like 4 times.
Oh, there's at least 3 different colors.
I know you were thinking about Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
When he puts the guy in if the plastic was gonna melt or not.
Yes, like this obviously has chemicals in it, and this is just like a kitchen cheap plastic thing. So I'm just curious if this is strong enough to strip the paint off of here, is it also strong enough to rip through this container?
We'll find out when it's all over my tailgate. They also say to add it with a brush, and we're just gonna soak it in it.
So really following the directions well.
Yeah. Oh my god, that stuff is so thick. Nice.
we just wait, I guess.
Now let's go get started on the floor.
I'm a little tired. We had carbs.
We're getting started on the floor.
We need coffee.
I don't want to hear it. Let's go.
What happened?
I shut the door and I didn't put the doorknob on yet, so I'm a little locked in here. So if Lauren could get from the closet right to her left, the doorknob, that'd be great.
Hi.
Thought I was stuck in here forever. We're just gonna start at the door. Really, I like to start at the side that most people are gonna be seeing. So if we start here and we work this way, and we get to there and all of a sudden we have a little strip, and that's what first thing you see is a cut strip. I don't really like seeing that. I like when I enter a room, that's where you're gonna start. That's where you're gonna have your full, and you'll run to where least amount of people are gonna see. Since we're starting at the door, you need to think about where your carpet in the hallway and where your flooring in your bathroom are gonna be meeting. Now you don't want your flooring in the bathroom to be running out past your door and ending out here. You don't want to see it until you actually open the door. So you're going to think about your threshold. So what I like to do is when I close this door, my door is going to cover from the doorstop to the inside of this frame. So I will stop my flooring just short of halfway, so probably about right there. So then I have a gap for my threshold where it meets the subfloor, and then I can start the carpet out in the hallway. Bodie, you're very disruptive. So think about that stuff when you're starting to lay your floor. Don't just go willy-nilly starting at the doorway and working in. You gotta think about where your flooring is gonna begin and end. On to my next thing, which is gonna be trimming the door jambs. So, Bodie, you are being so disruptive, buddy. Luckily for this one, I don't believe I have to cut this one. That's just because of the unlevelness of the floor. But this side would be a good example. It's tight up against my subfloor. What I'm gonna have to do is put my flooring up against this. All right, I'm gonna have to trace this. That's how much of that jamb I'm gonna have to cut off. So then after you get that cut with the multi-tool, you're just gonna use a chisel just to notch it out. After you chisel that out, I mean, basically that's what it's gonna look like. But now your flooring will slide nice right up underneath it, and it'll give it a nice finished edge. We are going to start with this flooring, but we marked our center line. We're gonna measure off of our center line, right and left. It should be the same size on both sides. Those two are gonna be our first starter pieces. Instead of measuring and taking like an actual number, I will take our flooring, there's a tongue side with a little piece sticking out, a little tab sticking out, and a side that has no tab, but it's grooved up underneath. You wanna work tongue facing the direction that you're going, and that's how you're gonna lay your pieces in, and I'll show you how they lock in when we start. To get that measurement, we actually wanna flip this around, and we want to mark our piece. Once this is cut, we turn this around. Our cut side will be up against the tub, and our manufactured side will be out in the room. So Lauren will be a doll and go cut this, right?
This is our first time using LVT. We got this from Lowe's. It's about $2.99 a square foot, but we did have a coupon, of course. We have experience laying LVP. We have experience laying tile. We'll see what luxury vinyl tile is like, and we'll give you our honest review. Because I know a lot of you guys have been asking or have been waiting to see what our experience with it is and if we like it or not.
And originally I was gonna like lay down some either Kills or like Zinsser, like shellac to waterproof the subfloor. But the more I researched it and the more people I talked to, they say you really don't have to, as long as you waterproof around the sides. So I'll just show you what my plan is for that when I get there. But as for the subfloor, yeah, I'm not doing anything to it. We're just gonna start laying.
Kyle got the measurements, so it's my job to cut. The small tools are Kyle's tools. The big ones are mine, because I'm always the one doing the cutting. So when you're cutting tile or cutting anything, especially with a table saw, first, we were cutting like 2x4s before. This blade's way too high, so you could just kind of put your material right up next to it, and you just want it to rise up just like 1/4 of an inch above the material. For this, because the line needs to be perfectly straight, you do set up your fence. I already set it up. And then in terms of the line, you want to make sure you and your marker are on the same page. So Kyle and I, he does a straight line, he draws it the whole way through for me usually, and then he puts a little tail. And this means that this is the waist and this is the side I want to keep. So you can't put your line directly on the blade because the blade's actually like a 1/16 of an inch wide. So if you put the line directly on the blade, you're actually going to be cutting into the side you want to keep about a 1/16 of an inch. It's going to throw your measurements off. So we always say you kind of want to keep the line. So I put the blade on the waist side of the line. And then because the blade has a thickness, it cuts perfectly. Perfect cut.
So now remember, we're starting with the tongue side facing the direction we're moving, and you're going to set the groove into the tongue. So tongue side down into the tongue, line your ends up, and then just kind of give it some pressure and drop it down on it. And then you could use a rubber mallet. I have one, it's just not here. So I'll use my hand. But that just kind of seats it. So that's it. I mean, really, that's all you're gonna do the whole way across. These are the cut pieces, the waist ends from those two. If you can get away with using these, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a full piece here now. To know this piece, instead of measuring off, this is the piece we're gonna use. Like I said, flip it around. You're gonna choose a space just off of your finished edge. Mark your line, and that's where you're gonna cut. So now when you come back, that piece should land perfectly right in that space. And the same thing for that side. You'll do the same exact thing, and you should have no problems. 2 quick tips. I drew a line here. I measured off of where I'm at right now, 3 feet. Doesn't have to be 3 feet, but for the size of this bathroom, I feel like that's a good distance. I just drew a reference line 3 feet off of there. So when I hit this, as I'm coming up and I hit this, I should be hitting that line evenly. If one side is reaching it first, that tells you that you need to adjust your tiles and you're not coming square, because then you're gonna hit this back wall out of square. You're gonna hit, one side's gonna reach it first. So you wanna make sure that you're square the whole way. So I measured off of there, and then I've also measured from those tiles to this wall. They seem to be about right. This is just a reference line. Also, I've got a seam here. This plywood is just the slightest bit higher than this plywood. Now, this is probably going to be a seam, I would think, because we are 36 inches. We had this problem in the past at Big Green. We had a seam that fell right on a spot where subfloor was a little bit higher. You've got to either use thin set and like feather that out to make sure it's a nice like slight rise, or I'm just going to use sandpaper and just kind of really feather that down so that there's not this big dramatic bump. That should take care of it.
Like we said, this is our first time laying LVT, and we asked you guys on Instagram what questions you had so we could answer them along the way. First one is, what is LVT? It is luxury vinyl tile, so it's very similar to luxury vinyl plank, but for bathrooms. Difficulty level the first time, I would say it's very similar to LVP. You do kind of have to get used to the locking mechanism, and like, you gotta learn to know if it's fully locked in or not. But once you figure that out, I mean, it's easy. Would you agree?
It's super easy, yeah.
Yeah. Is this better than porcelain? Any risk of leaks? We don't know yet because this is our first time using it. It says it's waterproof. It says it's highly recommended for wet areas like bathrooms, but we don't have an active bathroom with it right now. So we'll report back in like 6 months and let you know.
Or like 10 years. They say it's 100% waterproof.
Yeah.
So now with LVP and LVT, there is expansion and contraction. So when you go up against wall or you go up against any sort of end, you don't want it like really mashed right up against it. You want anywhere from like an 1/8 to like a 1/4 inch gap. Last ones, and we done. You're setting the groove side in. Once it's set in place, you're having it on a slight angle. and you're sending it down towards the pieces you already have in. Once you make contact and you lay it down, it's gonna kind of want to sit up on this side. That's fine, because that's when you're gonna rubber mallet it, and you can actually hear it snap in. So that's what's creating that lock. All right, so it's a lot easier and less painful if you have a rubber mallet, but like I said, we don't. That's it. We done. Our overall thoughts are, I think it looks fantastic. It went down super easy. Obviously way better than tile, less of a mess. I love the waterproof quality to it. That's definitely the most important for us because we are keeping the house long term. We want to make sure everything stays dry and doesn't rot. So the waterproof quality with the ease of laying it, I mean, I don't think you could beat it. Yeah, so to lay tile, I mean, you figure you're doing the same process, okay? If you lay the LVT, you're still laying the tile. So now just add another step with troweling out thin set and then another day to grout. So I would say it's probably a quarter of the time to lay LVT.
He loves it. He's like, yeah, I helped put this floor down.
He did.
So we got this LVT from Lowe's. It is the Artmore tile. Specifically, it's Rogue. It's a 28 mil wear layer, and the color is sandstone dark gray. We needed 2 boxes for this space, so our total spend on tile was $241.63. In theory, yes, we could have gotten tile from like Habitat for Humanity or on sale from a big box store, but then you gotta buy thin set, you gotta buy grout, you gotta buy all the tools if you don't have those already, and obviously it takes longer to do so. And since we're trying to turn this bathroom around quick, I think it was worth the price. So, not bad for 3 hours. A productive Saturday down. In the last episode, we got a quote for our painters to paint all 3 floors, even though I normally paint, but this house is huge and I'm just like not really trying to do that. But we want to move in soon. So the order of events has to be very specific because we want to replace the carpet. But I don't want to replace the carpet before we paint because I don't want paint to get on the new carpet.
And yes, we could pull these carpets out, but we're gonna save our backs a little bit because with the purchase of the carpet comes free removal and haul away of old carpet when we buy our new. So we are going to save ourselves some labor and just cut like 12 inches off of the baseboard all the way around the perimeter of the room, just to give our painter enough room to get in there and paint the baseboard. So whatever profile carpet we use or underlayment, what is it?
Yeah.
Carpet pad, we won't have any issues.
We're also gonna go through and just do some caulking and perhaps some scraping of old paint just to make the baseboards look a bit cleaner.
Isn't that right, bud?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start on that and Lauren's gonna start on...
I'm gonna paint the new siding outside.
I'm super excited to see what that's gonna look like. Let's get to it. What's up, baby? Lauren just walked in here and she says, not to be completely useless, but can you come set the ladder up for me? Which, because we have the extension ladder, it's not really her fault. I don't think you've used an extension ladder before, right?
I don't think I've ever used an extension ladder that wasn't like already set up for me.
And you're about to be like 15 feet in the air, so I guess you definitely don't want to screw around with that. So let's go make sure our favorite girl doesn't die. Yeah. All right, I will supervise, but I want you to do it.
Is that?
Yep.
Is it mathematically leaning correctly per force of body weight and distance of?
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay. Like, I don't feel like an ass. Now that I'm done painting, I'm gonna go help Kyle with the carpet. He says it's pretty miserable, so. What's going on?
It's coming up. It's hot.
Yeah.
This is the oldest coin I've ever found. It's a wheat penny from 1925. That's pretty legit. The other one, it's another wheat penny, 1946. The other one's 1959.
All right, we're on our last room. We just gotta clean this one out first, and then we can get to it.
I'll take these down.
Thank you.
Come on, bud, do something. Grab something.
Thanks for helping, buddy. Yes. Go, Daddy. Come on. Yes. Go to Daddy.
I'll carry this one. This one's a little too heavy, but they were such a help. I don't know how I could have handled those two things. Whew. I am exhausted. We are done for the weekend.
That was a productive weekend. I'm proud of us. That was a grind.
I'm pretty sure we did everything that was on that checklist. I'm burnt out. I am burnt out for this weekend. We did a lot.
But I'm excited because when we come back next week, the second and third floor should all be painted. So we are going to leave the house and we're gonna come back and a lot of work is gonna have taken place and we have done none of it.
It's a thing of beauty. Workers coming in and working when you're not around.
Crazy, huh? What a concept.
Still haven't heard anything about inspections, but hopefully next week we get a call so that we can get them scheduled and get those inspections done.
Next weekend we are prepping the house for us to move in. Obviously we need to make this house livable. We need to figure out a kitchen situation. We need to figure out shower situations. We're gonna show you how we prep ourselves to not go insane when we're doing a live-in renovation.
So drop us a comment below if you've ever lived in a renovation.
Ooh, give us all of the tips. Surprisingly, even though we've done a lot of renovations and have lived in the houses afterwards, we usually wait until they're almost completely finished. This is the first time that we're legit not gonna have a full kitchen, a full bathroom, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so we're gonna be roughing it a bit. So
give us all the tips.
Give us all the tips. And we'll see you guys next weekend.